The desperate call. The observation deck of the UES Relentless was silent except for the soft hum of the ship's engines. Commander Nathaniel Frost stood with his hands clasped behind his back, gazing at the endless expanse of stars. The military vessel, humanity's pride in space exploration, had been patrolling the outer reaches of Sol system for 3 weeks, and boredom was becoming the crew's worst enemy. Commander, a voice crackled through the comm system. Lieutenant Rivera in communications, you need to hear this. Frost's brow furrowed as he made his way to the bridge. The Relentless was the most advanced ship in Earth's fleet, but humanity had only ventured into interstellar space 5 years ago. They were newcomers in a galaxy that had been watching them with caution and fear. "What do we have, Lieutenant?" Frost asked as he entered the bridge, nodding to his XO, Commander Olivia Wilson. Rivera, a young woman with dark hair pulled into a tight bun, pressed her hand against her earpiece. "Sir, we're picking up a distress signal. Pattern indicates an SOS, but," she hesitated, "it's not human." The bridge crew fell silent. First contact had happened 3 years ago, and relations with the handful of alien species they'd encountered remained tense. Humans came from Earth, what aliens called a death world, a planet with high gravity, extreme weather, and aggressive predators that had forged humanity into resilient survivors. This reputation made other species wary. "Can you clean up the signal?" Frost asked, settling into his command chair. Rivera's fingers danced across her console. "Yes, sir, playing now." A high-pitched, melodic voice filled the bridge, the translation software struggling to keep up. "Under attack, weapons failing, please help, anyone." "Location?" Frost asked, turning to navigation. Lieutenant Marcus Ockafer, a tall man with keen eyes, responded immediately. "The Arcturus sector, sir, about 30 hours at maximum speed." Frost drummed his fingers on the armrest of his chair. Starfleet Command had strict protocols about alien encounters: observe, report, await instructions. Interfering in alien conflicts was explicitly forbidden unless authorized, but someone out there was dying. "Open a channel to command," Frost ordered. Admiral Huang's face appeared on the screen, lines of concern already etched around her eyes. "Commander Frost, report." "Admiral, we've intercepted an alien distress call from the Arcturus sector. They're under attack and requesting assistance. Requesting permission to respond." A long silence followed. Frost knew what the Admiral was considering. This could be a trap, or it could be humanity's chance to show the galaxy they were more than just the frightening Deathworlders everyone thought them to be. "Permission granted, Commander," Admiral Huang finally said. "But proceed with caution. Some species still see us as dangerous primitives." "Understood, Admiral." Relentless out. Frost turned to Ockafer. "Set course for the signal maximum speed." The ship's engines roared to life as the Relentless jumped to FTL travel. Stars stretched into lines of light on the view screen as they accelerated beyond the speed of light. Frost called a meeting of his senior officers in the tactical room. "We don't know what we're flying into," he said, looking at each of them. "This could be a simple pirate attack, or it could be something worse. Dr. Patel, what do we know about the species in the Arcturus sector?" Dr. Jaya Patel, the ship's xenobiologist, pulled up a holographic display. "Not much, Commander. There are two known civilizations in that region, the Viridians, a peaceful trading species, and the Korgans, who have a reputation as raiders." "Weapon status?" Frost asked, turning to his tactical officer. Lieutenant Commander Jackson Chen nodded confidently. "All systems operational, sir. Rail guns, plasma torpedoes, and point defense systems are ready. The boarding teams are on standby." Frost nodded, satisfied. "Remember, everyone, this might be the first time these aliens have encountered humans. Show them that Earth produces more than just survivors, it produces heroes." What none of them knew was that the distress signal had been broadcasting for 5 days. 17 alien ships had received it. All had ignored it. In the unwritten rules of the galaxy, species help their own kind, not strangers. Only the humans, the feared Deathworlders, had chosen to respond. As the Relentless raced through space, the alien vessel sending the signal was losing hope. Their attackers had disabled their engines, and their weapons, weak to begin with, were depleted. They were a peaceful species, never meant for war. Zephyr, the blue-skinned captain of the Viridian vessel Harmony, looked at his bridge crew with dimming bioluminescent patterns reflecting his despair. "Status of the emergency power reserves," he asked softly. Critical, Captain, responded First Officer Lyra, her translucent fins quivering with stress. The Korgan raiders have breached our outer hull in 3 locations. They're preparing boarding tubes. Zephyr knew what that meant. The Korgans didn't take prisoners, they took slaves and stripped ships for parts. His people would be sold in markets across the galaxy, never to see their homeworld again. Captain, called out Sensor Officer Talos, his voice rising with surprise. A ship is approaching. Zephyr felt a flicker of hope. One of our trading partners. No, Talos replied, his voice dropping to a whisper. It's a human ship. Silence fell over the bridge. The Deathworlders were coming. The Relentless dropped out of FTL with a flash of displaced energy. Before them floated 2 ships. One was graceful and organic-looking, with smooth lines like flowing water now marred by scorch marks and breaches. The other was angular and predatory, bristling with weapons, its hull painted with red symbols. Scans show the larger vessel is heavily damaged, Chen reported. Life support failing in several sections. The smaller vessel appears to be preparing boarding tubes. Open a channel to both ships, Frost ordered, straightening his uniform. The channel open, sir. Frost stood tall. This is Commander Nathaniel Frost of the United Earth ship Relentless. We are responding to a distress call. Cease hostilities immediately. For a moment there was silence. Then a blue face appeared on the view screen. Its skin seemed to glow with internal light, and large, expressive eyes dominated its features. Earthship, the voice was musical though strained with fear. I am Captain Zephyr of the Viridian trading vessel Harmony. The Korgans attacked us 5 days ago. They've disabled our engines and weapons. They mean to take my people as slaves. Please help us. The screen split and another face appeared. This alien had gray, leathery skin and a ridge of spikes along its skull. Its eyes were small, deep-set, and predatory. This is none of your business, human, it snarled. This is between us and the Light Eaters. Leave now or you'll share their fate. Frost's expression hardened. I'm afraid I can't do that. You are attacking a helpless ship. I order you to stand down and withdraw. The Korgan captain laughed, a harsh, grating sound. You order me, 1 ship against my raiding fleet. You humans are as foolish as they say. Final warning, Frost said simply. Stop your attack and leave, or we will make you leave. The Korgan cut the connection. Frost turned to Chen. Target their boarding tubes and weapons systems. Warning shot first. Yes, sir, Chen replied, fingers moving across his console. The Relentless fired a single shot that streaked past the Korgan ship's bow. The response came instantly, a barrage of energy weapons firing toward the human vessel. They're firing on us, Wilson called out, shields holding at 85%. Return fire, Frost commanded, his voice ice-cold. Full weapons, show them what happens when you threaten innocent lives in front of humans. The Relentless's weapon systems lit up the darkness of space. The Korgan ship attempted evasive maneuvers but was caught by surprise at the human vessel's speed and precision. Several hits landed on its hull, causing explosions along its weapons ports. Aboard the Harmony, Captain Zephyr and his crew watched in amazement. The humans had arrived and immediately engaged in battle, no negotiation, no request for payment, no hesitation. They simply saw someone in trouble and acted. Have you ever seen anything like this? Asked Lyra, her bioluminescent patterns pulsing with wonder. Zephyr shook his head slowly. No species fights for strangers, it's unprecedented. As the battle began in earnest, more Korgan ships emerged from behind a nearby asteroid field, 3 more raiders joining the first. The odds had just become 4-1, but Commander Frost's expression didn't change. Tactical, target the lead ship's engines, he ordered. Navigation, prepare for evasive pattern delta. Communications, inform the Harmony to move away if they can. The bridge crew moved with practiced precision, each knowing their role in the dance of battle. As the Korgan ships surrounded them, Frost stood in the center of his bridge, calm and focused. Humanity unleashed. The 4 Korgan raider ships circled the Relentless like predators, their weapons charging. Commander Frost studied the tactical display, his mind racing through options. The odds were stacked against them, 4 raiders against 1 human vessel. Sir, they're coordinating their attack, Chen reported, fingers flying across his console. Their shields have adapted to our weapons. Direct hits are causing minimal damage now. Frost nodded calmly. They think they have us outnumbered. A small smile crossed his face. But they've never fought humans before. He pressed the shipwide comm. All hands, this is the commander. Prepare for combat maneuver thunderclap. The crew scrambled to action stations. On the bridge, Wilson raised an eyebrow. Thunderclap, sir, that's never been tested in actual combat. Today's a good day to try, Frost replied, his eyes never leaving the tactical display. Sometimes you need to remind the galaxy why humans are feared. Aboard the Harmony, Captain Zephyr watched in growing dismay as the Korgan raiders surrounded the human ship. They came to help us and now they'll die for it, he whispered, his skin dimming with sorrow. But what happened next would change everything Zephyr understood about warfare. The Relentless suddenly cut all external lights and power signatures, seeming to go dormant. The Korgans, sensing victory, moved closer to finish off their prey. Then, in an instant, the human ship erupted with activity, not weapons fire, but a massive electromagnetic pulse that swept outward in all directions. The pulse wasn't designed to destroy, but to disorient and disable. The Korgan ship's systems flickered and failed as the EMP washed over them. Their shields collapsed, weapons offline, and communications scrambled. Now, Frost commanded, all weapons target the lead ship. The Relentless unleashed its full arsenal on the flagship. Railguns fired magnetically accelerated projectiles that punctured the raider's hull like paper. Plasma torpedoes followed, heating the metal to melting point. The Korgan ship exploded in a spectacular fireball. But Frost wasn't finished. Launch boarding parties to Raiders 2 and 3, engineering prepare the nanite package. Wilson stared at him. Boarding parties, sir, we're outnumbered. Numbers don't win battles, Frost said. Willpower does, and humans have that in abundance. 30 humans in combat armor launched from the Relentless, using personal thrusters to cross the void of space toward the disabled Korgan ships. The Raiders, having never encountered such tactics, were completely unprepared for enemies who would willingly throw themselves into the vacuum of space to fight. Lieutenant Commander Chen led the first boarding team. They landed on the hull of the second Raider ship and cut their way inside using plasma torches. The ship's alarms blared as the Korgans realized with growing horror that the Deathworlders were inside their vessel. The battle that followed was short and decisive. Humans, evolved on a high-gravity world with dense atmosphere, were stronger and faster than the Korgans in close-quarters combat. Chen's team fought their way to the bridge and took control of the ship in less than 15 minutes. Meanwhile, Engineering Officer Lieutenant Vihan Sharma launched a canister toward the fourth Raider. When it contacted the hull, it broke open, releasing a cloud of specially engineered nanites, microscopic robots that began systematically disabling the ship's external systems, eating through weapon ports and sensor arrays. The Korgans had never seen such varied tactics in a single battle. They were used to straightforward engagements, weapons against weapons, shields against shields. The humans fought with improvisation, adaptability, and a ruthlessness that left the Raiders reeling. Captain Zephyr and his crew watched in stunned silence as the humans systematically dismantled the Korgan fleet. One ship destroyed, 2 captured, and 1 rendered helpless by invisible machines. They fight like nothing I've ever seen, Lyra whispered, her fins trembling. Not just with technology, but with imagination. That's why they survived their death world, Zephyr replied, understanding dawning in his luminous eyes. They never stop finding new ways to overcome challenges. Within an hour, the battle was over. The Korgan threat neutralized, the Relentless turned its attention to the damaged Harmony. Engineering teams crossed to the Viridian vessel, bringing medical supplies and repair equipment. Commander Frost stepped through the airlock onto the Harmony, the first human to board a Viridian ship. Captain Zephyr waited to greet him, standing tall though his skin was dimmed with exhaustion. Commander Frost, Zephyr said, bowing slightly, my people owe you a debt we can never repay. Frost shook his head. There is no debt between friends, Captain Zephyr. On Earth we have a saying, a friend in need is a friend indeed. Zephyr's skin brightened slightly. Friend, no species has called us that before meeting us. The human and Viridian captains moved to a meeting room where they could speak privately. Frost's medical officer, Dr. Eliza Nakamura, examined the injured Viridians while repair teams worked to stabilize the ship's systems. Why were you so far from your territory? Frost asked, accepting a cup of glowing blue liquid that Zephyr offered. He sniffed it cautiously before taking a sip. Zephyr's skin dimmed again. We had no choice, Commander, our home is dying. A holographic display appeared between them, showing a beautiful star system with 3 planets orbiting a bright yellow sun. This was our home for 10,000 years, Zephyr explained. The image changed, showing the same system but with the sun dimmer, redder. The planets looked darker, their once vibrant ecosystems fading. 3 years ago, our sun began to cool, Zephyr continued. Our scientists say it will continue for centuries. And your people need sunlight, Frost said, understanding immediately. Zephyr nodded. We are photosynthetic. Our bodies create energy from light like your plants. Less light means slow starvation. So you're looking for a new home, Frost concluded. Yes, but Zephyr's voice trailed off, his skin pulsing with sadness. But what? We have asked 14 other systems if we could settle there, all refused. Zephyr's skin dimmed to almost gray. No one wants to share their sun, they fear we will take too much light. Frost considered this. How many of your people need relocation? 12 million, Zephyr answered, our entire species. The human commander whistled softly. That's a considerable number, but not impossible. He studied the star map on the wall. What about our system? Zephyr stared at him in shock. Your system, Earth's. Frost nodded. We have more planets than we're using right now. He pointed to the map, particularly Venus. But isn't Venus one of your planets? Zephyr asked, confusion evident in his voice. Yes, but we can't live there, Frost explained. It's too hot for humans over 460 degrees Celsius. The atmosphere would kill us instantly. We've only established research stations in the upper atmosphere. But for your people, Dr. Nakamura added, joining the conversation, it could be ideal. All that sunlight, no competition, and you'd be close enough to Earth for trade and protection. Zephyr's skin began to glow brighter than Frost had yet seen, pulsing with what the human recognized as excitement. You would share your sun with us, your system. Frost nodded. We have the room, you need the light, it makes sense. The Veridians looked at each other, their skin pulsing in silent communication. In all our searching, Zephyr said softly, no one has offered us anything. Yet you, the feared Deathworlders, offer us a home. Deathworlders, Frost chuckled. Perhaps that's precisely why we understand. On Earth, we learned long ago that cooperation helps everyone survive. The harshest conditions forge the strongest alliances. Then we accept, Zephyr said, standing and extending both hands in the Veridian gesture of agreement. If your government agrees. Frost stood and took Zephyr's hands in the human way. I'll contact Earth immediately, we'll escort you there safely. As the Veridians left to share the news with their people, Dr. Nakamura turned to Frost. Commander, do you really think Earth will agree to this? Frost nodded confidently. They will, because today we've learned something important about our place in the galaxy. What's that? Being Deathworlders doesn't just make us fierce fighters, Frost said, looking out at the stars. It makes us understand what matters most, finding ways to survive together even in the harshest conditions. And sometimes that means helping others do the same. 3 days later, the Relentless led the Harmony toward Earth, a beginning of an alliance that would change the galaxy forever. The legend of humanity spread quickly, not just as fearsome warriors who could defeat overwhelming odds, but as a species willing to share what they had with strangers in need. The Deathworlders had revealed their true nature. Yes, they were dangerous when provoked, capable of terrifying creativity in battle, but they were equally capable of compassion, generosity, and friendship. As news of the Venus Agreement spread throughout the galaxy, other species began to look at humans differently. Perhaps they were not the primitive savages everyone had assumed. Perhaps, in their unique way of seeing the universe, these Deathworlders had something important to teach the galaxy about survival. And perhaps the most terrifying answer humanity could give to a call for help wasn't their capacity for violence, but their unyielding determination to protect those in need, no matter the cost.